Hello everyone and welcome to Daily Memory Lab. Welcome to study session number 3. In today's study session, we are going to continue with e-way bill chapter from page number 12.15 until page number 12.20 or 21. So this is the control sheet. As you can see, we completed the first 8 pages, first round and second round. Second round we completed yesterday. And the second 7 to 8 pages we completed yesterday first round. We will see this second round first. We will read the page number 12.9 to 12.15 for the second round that we will complete first, and then we will proceed from 12.15 till 12.20 or 21. Okay, before we proceed with the session, let us set the intention. This is something we are going to do every day from now on. So pre-study session intention. I am going to study for 30 to 60 minutes with full focus. In this study session, I lower down all my expectations and embrace imperfection. I may or may not get big breakthroughs in this study session, and I am totally okay with it. I will most likely make mistakes in the next 30 to 60 minutes, and if I make them, I am not going to judge myself. I embrace my mistakes and reset my ambitions. My goal is not to achieve perfection. My goal is only to make a tiny progress in the next 30 to 60 minutes. We have set the intention. With this intention, let us begin our study session. Okay, we will start from here. This is where we started yesterday. Special situation or situations where e-way bill needs to be issued even if the value of the consignment is less than 50,000. We saw there is a general condition that if the consignment value is more than 50,000, we have to issue e-way bill. But now, what are the situations where even if the consignment value is less than 50,000, we still need to issue e-way bill? Interstate transfer of handicraft by a person exempt from obtaining registration. Where handicraft goods are transported from one state or union territory to another state or union territory by a person who has been exempted from the requirement of obtaining registration under clauses 1 and 2 of section 24, the e-way bill shall be generated by the said person irrespective of the value of the consignment. Fourth proviso to rule 138. So this is talking about handicraft goods, movement of goods from one state to another or one union territory to another, or the other combinations between both, and that person has not obtained registration. He has been specifically exempt from obtaining registration. In such situation, even if the value of consignment is less than 50, if that person is causing the movement of goods, looks like they have to issue e-way bill. Handicraft goods are specified in notification number 56 of 2018 CT dated 23/10/2018, which exempts the casual taxable persons making interstate taxable supplies of such handicraft goods from obtaining registration up to specified turnover limit. So the connecting provision is in chapter 9. We will see it when we come to that point. Okay, next. E-way bill also needs to be issued even if the value of consignment is less than 50,000 in case of interstate transfer of goods by principal to job worker. Okay, so this is also another point. So job worker subcontract type of provisions, subcontract type of arrangement is there. So in that situation, if the goods are moved by principal to job worker, even if the consignment is less than 50, looks like we have to issue e-way bill. The provisions relating to job work are discussed in detail at the final level. This is only for the purpose of information, not from examination perspective. Okay, fine. Moving on. E-way bill in case of bill to ship to model. In a bill to ship to model of supply, there are 3 persons involved in a transaction, namely A is the person who has ordered B to send goods directly to C. B is the person who is sending goods directly to C on behalf of A, and C is the recipient of goods. In this complete scenario, 2 supplies are involved, and accordingly 2 tax invoices are required to be issued because A is the one who is ordering B. So this is one supply because A might be making the payment to B, and B will be issuing a tax invoice to A. and B will also be supplying goods to C. Therefore, the another invoice which will be charged by A upon C. So A will be raising another invoice to C because A has paid on behalf of B. So the transaction could be like that. So for that reason, A will be raising invoice to C. In this complete scenario, two supplies are involved, and accordingly two tax issue invoices are required to be issued. Invoice number 1 which would be issued by B to A, invoice number 2 which would be issued by A to C. It is clarified that as per CGST rules of 2017, for the movement of goods which is taking place from B to C on behalf of A, either A or B can generate e-way bill, but it may be noted that only one e-way bill is required to be generated because movement of goods is in only one leg. Between A and B there is no movement of goods, therefore no e-way bill is needed for this side of the transaction. Even though invoices are 2, the e-way bill required is only 1. Okay, moving on. Second point, information to be furnished in e-way bill. An e-way bill form GST EWB1 contains 2 parts. Part A comprising of details of GSTIN of supplier and recipient, place of delivery indicating PIN code also, document number of either this tax invoice number or bill of supply, delivery challan or bill of entry, value of goods, HSN code and reasons for transportation. All these are to be furnished by the person registered, by the registered person who is causing the movement of goods of consignment value exceeding 50,000. So part A of the EWB form is to be furnished by the person causing the movement of the goods, and part B is about the transport details. Transporter document number, goods receipt number or railway receipt number or airway bill number or bill of lading number, and vehicle number in case of transport by road to be furnished by the person who is transporting the goods. Okay, so it is to be done, part B is to be furnished by the person who is actually the transporter. Okay, however, information in part A may be furnished by the transporter on an authorization received from such registered person. So the person who is actually causing the goods, let's say it could be a supplier, he can authorize the transporter. Okay, from now on, you know my basic details, I'm going to supply some regular items. So in case of repeat transactions, I think this person can outsource this work to person who is transporting. So in that situation, both part A and part B will be filled by the transporter. Okay, and part A may be furnished by the e-commerce operator or courier agency where the goods to be transported or supplied through such an e-commerce operator or a courier agency on an authorization received from the consignor. Okay, let's say we send goods through Amazon or Flipkart. So one person from Amazon or person from Flipkart is actually invoicing the goods or actually transporting the goods, then Amazon can actually fill this part A on our behalf, because seller could be somebody else, but they could be selling through Amazon, through the platform. So the courier agency or the actual transporter can actually fill the form. Second proviso. So first proviso and second proviso, both are kind of, they are similar only. The core thing is part A can also be filled by transporter if the person causing the movement of goods is authorizing them to do so. Anyway, once the consignor consignee enters all the details in part A of the e-way bill, a part A slip is generated which contains a temporary number. This slip can be shared with the transporter or used by the supplier himself later to enter the details in part B of e-way bill and generate the e-way bill. So when I finish furnishing part A, a temporary number is generated and a slip is generated, and this slip can be shared with the transporter. So when the transporter actually finishes part B, the e-way bill is finally generated. This will be useful when the supplier has prepared invoice relating to his business transaction but does not have the transporter details. Yes, sometimes let's say I am the seller, I know what type of goods I'm sending, I know to whom I'm selling, all those details I know, so I would have actually made the invoice, but I don't know, I wouldn't have scheduled the consignment yet, so I don't know who is the guy who is going to ultimately transport these goods. So unless I know the details of transporter, I cannot fill part B of this e-way bill. So I can just keep the part A furnished, filled, and keep it myself, generate a slip number, generate a slip with a temporary number and keep the e-way bill ready. Thus, he can enter invoice details in part A of the e-way bill and keep it ready for entering details of mode of transportation in part B. Okay. Once the goods are ready for movement from the business premises and transporter details are known, the user can enter part B details and generate the e-way bill for movement of goods. E-way bill can be generated only after entering the details of part B. So, if you have only made part A, you can only generate the temporary number, that is not the complete e-way bill. So to get the complete e-way bill, part B should also be furnished. Okay, third point, who is mandatorily required to generate e-way bill? E-way bill is to be generated by the consignor or consignee himself if the transportation is being done in own or hired conveyance or by railways or by vessel. Okay, if the goods are handed over to a transporter for transportation by road, e-way bill is to be generated by the transporter. Okay, where neither the consignor nor consignee generates the e-way bill and the value of goods is more than 50,000, it shall be the responsibility of the transporter to generate it. Okay, this has been explained in detail below. Where the goods are transported by a registered person, whether as consignor or consignee, whether in his own or hired conveyance or a public conveyance by road, the said person shall have to generate the e-way bill by furnishing information in part B on the common portal, rule 138 sub rule 2. So let's say I have my own vehicle, I am the seller and I have my own vehicle and I am doing the transportation by myself, my own vehicle, my own conveyance, or I have hired a conveyance but I am the primary person who is doing the transportation. In that situation, I will enter both part A and part B by myself and I will have to generate the e-way bill. Second point, where the e-way bill is not generated by the registered person and the goods are handed over to the transporter for transportation of goods by road, the registered person shall furnish the information relating to the transporter in part B on the common portal, and the e-way bill shall be generated by the transporter on the said portal on the basis of the information furnished by the registered person in part A. So e-way bill is not generated by the registered person. So the seller is not actually generating e-way bill, but goods are handed over to the transporter. So in that situation, the seller would have only completed part A and the transporter will complete the part B and then the thing is completed. So this is the plain scenario that we saw previously. Third scenario, where the goods are transported by railways or by air or by vessel. So I am using a third party agency like railways or some airway courier like DHL or something, Blue Dart, something like that. In that situation, or I use through ship like Maersk or something like Hapag-Lloyd or some agency like that. In that situation, the e-way bill shall be generated by the registered person, being the supplier or the recipient, who shall either before or after the commencement of movement furnish information in part B, the transport document number, goods receipt number or railway receipt number, airway bill number on the common portal. So only in this situation, I will complete part A first, but part B I don't know whether through which railway, I don't know any details about how, when I'm going to dispatch or anything. In that situation, I can actually make the movement of the goods. Only when the transport is complete, we will get the part to be done, and we will see such related points upcoming now. Other important points, where the goods are transported by railways, there is no requirement to carry e-way bill along with the goods, but railways has to carry invoice or delivery challan or bill of supply as the case may be along with goods. Further, e-way bill generated for the movement is required to be produced at the time of delivery of goods. Railways shall not deliver goods unless the e-way bill required under rules is produced at the time of delivery. So let us clarify this first. What is the general rule? If I am transporting through road, through my own conveyance or through a courier agency or something like that, in that situation, I have to furnish both part A, part B, get the complete e-way bill, and then only I can actually begin the transport of goods. This is a normal scenario. But when I am transporting through railways, I will not know the part B details. I will not know at what date I am sending anything. So in that situation, I can actually transport the goods myself without even e-way bill. I have to generate part A, begin the transportation of goods, when the goods is in transit, in that situation I have to furnish part B, because by the time I know the railway receipt number, all those details I know, so I will use all the railway receipt number, GRN number, whatever is there, I will furnish that in part B, complete part B, and give that to the recipient of the goods. So recipient, while taking the delivery of the goods, shall submit the e-way bill to the railways authorities, and only then they will be able to take custody of the goods. Okay, the registered person or transporter may at his option generate and carry the e-way bill even if the value of consignment is less than 50,000 rupees. So I can voluntarily do so even if the value of consignment is less than. Government is not prohibiting. Government is saying, okay, if you want to do it by yourself, definitely do it. Next point, where the movement is caused by an unregistered person, either in his own conveyance or hired one through a transporter, he or the transporter may at their option generate the e-way bill. So, okay, unregistered person, if they want to generate e-way bill voluntarily, again they are also welcome to do that, or they can make their transporter to do that. Next, where the goods are supplied by an unregistered supplier to a person who is recipient who is registered, the movement shall be said to be caused by such a recipient if the recipient is known at the time of commencement of movement of goods. So in this situation, let's say I am the seller of the goods, but I am not GST registered, but I am selling to some big company who is a GST registered person, and I know to whom I am supplying. By the time goods are transportation of goods is being commenced, at that time I know to whom exactly I am going to ship the goods. So in that situation, the person who is registered, who is going to receive the goods, is deemed to be the person who is causing the movement of this goods. So in that situation, the person who is receiving the goods at the other end has to generate e-way bill. Okay, because I am not registered supplier, so I can't generate e-way bill. So the responsibility falls on the recipient's hand. Okay, fourth point, when it is not mandatory to furnish the details of conveyance in part B. E-way bill is valid for movement of goods by road only when the information in part B is furnished. Okay. Exceptions, however, details of conveyance may not be furnished in part B of the e-way bill where the goods are transported for a distance up to 50 kilometers within the state or union territory. So this again we saw yesterday, 50 kilometer exemption limit is there within the state, within the same state or union territory. From the place of business of the consignor to the place of business of the transporter for further transportation, or from the place of the transporter finally to the place of business of the consignee. So okay, so this is an exemption that is given if the supply is going to be within 50 kilometers and if it is within the same state. So let's say I'm in Chennai, and if you go north of 50 kilometers from where I am, you will reach even Andhra border, you will cross Andhra border. So in that situation, even if I'm, let's say 40 kilometers I'm transporting, but by the time I reach the 40th kilometer, I'm in actually Andhra state. So I don't think this exception will apply in that situation because I'm crossing the state, isn't it? So only within the state or within the same union territory, distance of up to 50 kilometers, this exemption is available. Okay, unique e-way bill number. Upon generation of the e-way bill on the common portal, a unique e-way bill number shall be made available to the supplier, the recipient, and the transporter on the common portal. Okay, this again we saw. Transfer of goods from one conveyance to another. Where the goods are transferred from one conveyance to another, the consignor or the recipient who has provided information in part A or the transporter shall, before such transfer and further movement of goods, update the details of conveyance in part B of the e-way bill on the common portal. Okay, consignment of goods may be required to be transferred from original conveyance to another conveyance due to unforeseen exigencies like breakdown of the vehicle. In such cases, the transporter transferring goods from one conveyance to another in the course of transit, before such transfer and a further movement of goods, update the details of the new conveyance. Okay, so if I'm switching from one lorry to the other, if I'm changing, the number plate of the lorry is going to change. So therefore I have to update those details in the part B of the e-way bill. In some cases, consignments are transported by the transporter through transshipment using multiple vehicles, same mode of transportation, for carrying the same consignment before it is delivered to the final recipient at the place of destination. Hence, for each movement from one place to another, the transporter needs to update the vehicle number in which he is transporting the consignment in part B of the e-way bill. Again, so we see how this courier agencies, how they move goods. So when they collect the things from you, let's say you are supplying goods to Maharashtra, and you are located in Chennai, and you are sending the goods to Maharashtra. So they will have multiple legs of their journey. So they will go from here to Hyderabad, and from Hyderabad to Nagpur, from Nagpur to Mumbai. They may have 3 legs. So there they will have 3 different vehicles. The goods will be changed into 3 different vehicles for better economy of their logistical business. So it might get costly for them to send it through single vehicle from one place to another if it is like 800-900 kilometers. So they will always have this hub and spoke model. So when they are collecting the documents or goods from one remote place, they will take it to the nearest hub where all the goods are there, collected, accumulated. There they will be resorted, and then they will be sent in another vehicle with full load. So this is just to ensure that the delivery cost per unit is saved for the courier agency. So in that situation, because of that, if the goods are being transported using transshipment model into multiple vehicles, so every time a new vehicle, the goods are transported to a new vehicle, that vehicle number has to be updated. The user can update part B vehicle details as many times as he wants for movement of goods to the destination. However, the updating should be done within the validity period. We will see what is this validity period in today's reading itself. There can also be a case where one e-way bill can go through multiple modes of transportation before reaching destination. Okay, so I can start with transporting through road, then it can take an airline route, and from there it can go through waterways. So and then I might do it through railways. It can have multiple modes of transportation. As per the mode of transportation, the EWB can be updated with the new mode of transportation by using the option of update vehicle number. Okay, we will see this example. Bubble Associates is moving goods from Cochin to Chandigarh through road, ship, air, and road again. First, Bubble Associates generates the e-way bill by entering first stage of movement by road from its place to shipyard and enters the vehicle number. Okay, so this is the first leg of the journey. So they enter the first vehicle number. Next, it will submit the goods to shipyard and update the mode of transportation as ship and transport document number on the e-way bill system. So the second mode of transportation is through ship, so they will update that in the e-way bill. After reaching Mumbai, Bubble Associates or concerned transporter updates movement as road from shipyard to airport with vehicle number. So the third mode of transportation again is from shipyard to airport. It is going through road, so that has to be updated, and thereafter Bubble Associates or transporter updates using update vehicle number option on the portal the airway bill number, because the last leg of the transport is going to be through air. So then airway bill number will be generated, and that will be updated. Again, after reaching Delhi, Bubble Associates updates movement through road with vehicle number, because from airport till the final destination it will be obviously delivered through road only. So for that details, again it will be updated vehicle number. So this way the e-way will be updated with multiple modes of transportation. Okay, fine, fair enough. Next topic, assigning the e-way bill number to another transporter. The consignor or recipient who has furnished the information in part A or the transporter may assign the e-way bill number to another registered or enrolled transporter for updating the information in part B for further movement of the consignment. Okay. However, once the details of the conveyance have been updated by the transporter in part B, the consignor or recipient, as the case may be, who has furnished information in part A, shall not be allowed to assign the e-way bill number to another transporter. Okay, this is proviso to rule 138(5)(a). Okay. Okay, I want to read this rule 138.5a one more time. A consignor who has furnished the information in part A or the transporter may assign the e-waybill number to another registered or enrolled transporter for updating the information in part B, may assign the e-waybill number for further movement of consignment. However, once the details of the conveyance have been updated by the transporter in part B, the consignor, as the case may be, who has furnished information part A shall not be. Okay. See, I am generating part A, I am the seller of the goods. I know who is going to be the transporter. Once when I know who is the transporter, I will update the transporter details. And once the e-way bill is generated by filling of part B, I cannot change the transporter. I can change multiple vehicles of modes of transportation, all those e-way bill, all those things I can do. But I cannot at the commencement of the movement place, at the commencement place, my place of origination, I cannot assign this to another transporter. At least that's what I am inferring. If this is wrong, please let me know in the comment section what is the correct interpretation of this. That would be nice. Okay, let me read example number 3. A consignor is required to move goods from city X to city Z. He appoints transporter A for movement of his goods. Transporter A moves the goods from city X to city Y. For completing the movement of goods from city Y to city Z, transporter A now hands over goods to B. Thereafter, the goods are moved from city Y to city Z by transporter B. In such a scenario, only one e-way bill would be required. Okay. Part A can be filled by the consignor, and then the e-way bill will be assigned by consignor to transporter A. Transporter A will fill the vehicle details in part B and move the goods from city X to city Y. On reaching city Y, transporter A will assign the said e-way bill to the transporter B. Thereafter, transporter B will be able to update the details of part B. Transporter B will fill the details of his vehicle and move goods from city Y to city Z. Okay, this example is pretty clear, but the main provision and the proviso I am not able to understand clearly. Maybe part A shall not be allowed to assign. I don't know what is this prohibition. I am not able to understand. Let me know in the comment section. Okay, let's go to topic number 7, consolidated e-way bill. I think this is a simple topic we saw yesterday. If there are multiple consignments, the transporter can club all the e-way bills and generate a consolidated e-way bill, and this is for his convenience, so it will be easy for them to track. Okay, after e-way bill has been generated, where multiple consignments are intended to be transported in one conveyance, the transporter may indicate the serial number of e-way bills generated in respect of each such consignment electronically on the common portal, and a consolidated e-way bill in form GST EWB 02 may be generated by him on the said common portal prior to the movement of goods. Okay, 138 subrule 6. Consolidated e-way bill is a document containing the multiple e-way bills for multiple consignments being carried in one conveyance. That is, the transporter carrying multiple consignments of various consignors and consignees in a single vehicle can generate and carry a single document, consolidated e-way bill, instead of carrying a separate document for each consignment in a conveyance. Okay, yeah, let's say I will have like 15-20 different consignments that I will carry in a single vehicle. I don't need to carry 15-20 different papers. Instead, I can club all that and generate a single consolidated bill that will be easy for me to carry and track. Okay, consolidated EWB is like a trip sheet, and it contains all details of different e-way bills in respect of various consignments being transported in one vehicle, and these e-way bills will have different validity periods. Okay, hence consolidated e-way bill does not have an independent validity period. Okay, further, individual consignments specified in consolidated e-way bill should reach the destination as per the validity of the individual EWB. Okay, further, where the consignor or consignee has not generated the e-way bill in form GST EWB1 has not generated, and the aggregate value of the consignment value of goods carried in the conveyance is more than 50,000, the transporter, except in case of transportation of goods by railways, air and vessel, shall, in respect of interstate supply, generate the e-way bill in form GST EWB1 on the basis of invoice, bill of supply or challan as the case may be, and may also generate consolidated bill in form GST EWB02 on the common portal prior to the movement of goods. Okay, the generation of GST EWB02 is optional and not mandatory. However, where the goods to be transported or supplied through an e-commerce operator or a courier agency, the information in Part A of Form GST EWB1 may be furnished by such e-commerce operator or courier agency. This proviso is not yet effective. Okay. 8th point. Information submitted for e-way bill can be used for filing GST returns. The information furnished in Part A of the e-way bill shall be made available to the registered supplier on the common portal, who may utilize the same for furnishing the details in Form GSTR 1. Okay, whatever the information that I have already furnished in Part A, looks like I can use that same to file my GSTR 1. That's okay, it saves time, it makes sense. However, when the information has been furnished by an unregistered supplier or unregistered recipient, he shall be informed electronically if the mobile number or email is available. Proviso to 138.8. Okay, cancellation of e-way bill. Where an e-way bill has been generated, but goods are either not transported or not transported as per the details furnished in the e-way bill, the e-way bill may be cancelled electronically on the common portal within 24 hours of generation of the e-way bill. Okay, so if I have a change of plans, either I'm cancelling the entire deal, or if I'm having some different details, like I originally planned to consign 70,000 value of goods, but now I decided to consign like 80-90,000 value of goods, then I have to cancel it within 24 hours of generation of the original e-way bill. However, an e-way bill cannot be cancelled if it has been verified in transit in accordance with the provisions of Rule 138B. So, however, if I have actually made the e-way bill and looks like I have commenced the travel, and let's say it has been also verified by some authorities in transit, then I don't think so I can cancel after the journey has begun. Further, unique EWB number generated is valid for a period of 15 days for updation of Part B. Second proviso to Rule 138.9. So we read till here yesterday. Now we will start from here. We will try to read another probably 5 pages. 12.16. Let's begin. Point number 10. Validity period of e-way bill or consolidated e-way bill rule. What is the validity period? 138.10. Rule number 138, sub rule 10. The validity of e-way bill depends on the distance to be travelled by the goods. Okay. For a distance of less than 200 km, the e-way bill will be valid for a day from the relevant date. For every 200 km thereafter, the validity will be additional 1 day from the relevant date. So what is relevant date? Relevant date means the date on which e-way bill has been generated, and the period of validity shall be counted from the time at which e-way bill has been generated, and each day shall be counted as the period expiring at midnight of the day immediately following the date of generation of e-way bill. Okay, so it's not that when I commence the journey, it's when I generate the e-way bill. From that time, the validity of the e-way bill will start running. Let's see. Distance within the country up to 200. Validity period is 1 day in cases other than over-dimensional cargo or multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship. Okay, for every 200 kilometers or part thereof after, one additional day in cases other than over-dimensional cargo or multimodal shipment which at least one leg involves transport by ship. Okay, up to 20 kilometer, 1 day instead of, what is this, up to 20 kilometer? Okay, 1 day instead of over-dimensional in which at least one leg involves transport by ship. Okay, for every 20 kilometer or part thereof thereafter. 20 or 200, I'm not sure what is here. Please let me know. This third and fourth point, is it correct or not? You let me know. Anyway, we will see the examples. This can be explained by the following example. Suppose an e-way bill is generated at 12:04 a.m. on 14th March. Then the first day would end on 12 midnight of 15th or 16th. Midnight of 15th or 16th March. Second day will end on the midnight. Okay. Now I'm generating, let's say today midnight or early morning, 12 o'clock, and it is 14th March. Then 14th March fully will pass, and 15th March will also fully pass, and that stroke of 15th March. So even if they say it is one day, the validity of that e-way bill, you generally get more than 24 hours. So it's just, they are saying it is one day, but the validity you get more than 24 hours. Okay, now suppose an e-way bill is generated at 23:58 hours on 14th March. So let 14th March is fully gone, and only with just 2 more minutes left for the day to be over, I'm generating an e-way bill. Then first day would end on 12th midnight of 15th or 16th March. Second day will end on 12th midnight of, okay. So if I'm generating the bill at 11 o'clock tonight, then the one day will be over within like 24 or 25 hours. Okay. Fine. Anyway, the validity of the e-way bill starts when first entry is made in part B, that is vehicle entry is made first time in case of road transportation, or transport document number entry in case of rail, air, ship transportation, whichever is the first entry. It may be noted that validity is not recalculated for subsequent entries in part B. Okay. For the first entry only, that is when the validity starts to begin. The validity period starts to run. Okay. A consignor hands over his goods for transportation on Friday to transporter. However, the assigned transporter starts the movement of goods on Monday. The validity period of e-way bill starts only after the details in part B are updated. So it doesn't matter when I am updating part A, the validity period starts to count only after part B details are updated, okay, by the transporter for the first time. In the given situation, the consignor can fill the details in part A on Friday and hand over his goods to the transporter. When the transporter is ready to move the goods, he can fill part B, that is the assigned transporter can fill the details in part B on Monday, and validity of the e-way bills will start from Monday only. Okay, so CBIC press release dated 31st March 2018. Fifth example, a registered person has to transport goods from its warehouse to its depot located at a distance of 500 km in a normal cargo. In the given case, if e-way bill is generated, it will be valid for 3 days. Yeah, so for every 200 kilometers, one additional day is added, isn't it? So first 200 kilometers, second 200 kilometer, one day each, and for the last 100 kilometers you get extra 1 day. Fine. Over dimensional cargo, what is the meaning? It means a cargo carried as a single indivisible unit and which exceeds the dimensional units prescribed in Rule 93 of the Central Motor Vehicle Rules 1999 made under the Motor Vehicles Act 1988. Okay, fine. Over dimensional cargo. Extension of validity period. If validity of the e-way bill expires, the goods are not supposed to be moved. In general, the validity of the e-way bill cannot be extended. However, the validity of the e-way bill can be extended in following cases. Okay, in general, the validity of the e-way bill cannot be extended. However, the validity of the e-way bill can be extended in following situations. What are those? Extension by commissioner for certain categories of goods. Commissioner may, on the recommendations of the council, by notification, extend the validity period of an e-way bill for certain categories of goods as may be specified therein. Okay. Extension by transporter in exceptional circumstances. Under circumstances of an exceptional nature, including transshipment, the goods cannot be transported within the validity period of the e-way bill. The transporter may extend the validity period after updating the details in Part B if required. Thus, the transporter who is carrying the consignment as per the e-way bill system at the time of expiry of validity period can extend the validity period. Okay. So only in exceptional nature the transporter can extend the validity period. Such transporter can extend the validity of the e-way bill if the consignment is not being reached the destination, has not reached the destination within the validity period due to exceptional circumstances like natural calamity, law and order issues, transshipment delay, accident or of conveyance, etc. He needs to explain this reason in details while extending the validity period. The validity of the e-way bill may be extended within 8 hours from the time of its expiry. Okay, fine. Lots of limits, lots of numbers are being said here. Anyway, acceptance of e-way bill. The details of the e-way bill generated shall be made available to the supplier if registered, where the information in Part A has been furnished by the recipient or transporter, or the information shall be made available to the recipient if registered, where the information in Part A has been furnished by supplier or transporter. Okay, on the common portal, and the supplier or recipient, as the case may be, shall communicate his acceptance or rejection of the consignment covered by the e-way bill. Okay, so now this is acceptance part. Now let's say I am the supplier, I generated e-way bill. It will be available for the customer, the recipient, to see the e-way bill, so they can accept it. Whatever the details I furnished in Part A is correct or not, they can accept it. They have to accept it, it seems. Next, let's say I am the recipient and my supplier has generated e-way bill. He has furnished Part A. It will be available for me to see, and I shall communicate the acceptance whether the details are correct or not. Okay, fine. So it's like an extra person, they have to communicate the acceptance, so it's like an extra check. Reasonable, fair. In case the person to whom the information in Part A is made available does not communicate his acceptance or rejection within the specified time, it shall be deemed that he has accepted the said details. The time limit specified for this purpose is 72 hours of the details being made available to him on the common portal, or the time of delivery of goods, whichever is earlier. Okay, so person to whom information party is available does not communicate his acceptance or rejection within the specified time. So let's say the other person has not responded, it has been deemed that the person has accepted. The time limit for such specified purpose is 72 hours or the delivery of goods, whichever is earlier. Okay. E-way bill is generated in one state is valid in another state. The e-way bill generated under this rule or under Rule 138 of the Goods and Service Tax Rules of any state or union territory shall be valid in every state and union territory. Okay, it's like a blanket authority, blanket validity. Fine. Right. Let's talk about the points to remember. E-way bill is not valid for movement of goods without vehicle number on it. Okay, there has to be an assigned vehicle number. Fine. If there is a mistake, incorrect or wrong entry in the e-way bill, then it cannot be edited or corrected. Only option is cancellation of e-way bill within 24 hours of generation and generate a new one with correct details. Okay. E-way bill may be updated with vehicle number any number of times that we saw. Transshipment model, change in modes of transportation, we saw. Yeah, it can be updated multiple times. Fourth point, the latest vehicle number should be available on the e-way bill and should match with the vehicle carrying it in case checked by the department. Okay, fine. If multiple invoices are issued by the supplier to recipient, that is for movement of goods of more than one invoice of same consign or and consignee, multiple e-way-bills have to be generated. Okay. That is, for each invoice, one e-way bill has to be generated, irrespective of the fact whether same or different consignor or consignees are involved. Multiple invoices cannot be clubbed to generate one e-way bill. Okay. It's interesting to read this. However, after generating all these e-way bills, one consolidated e-way bill can be prepared for transportation purpose if goods are going in one vehicle. So we saw Form GST EWB 02 consolidated e-way bill, where I can club multiple e-way bills, provided that I'm transporting them in one vehicle. Okay. So I guess we can wrap it up for the day, because it's 12.20, 12.21. So we still have, I think, 6 pages in the score chapter, 2021. 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 25. Okay. Yeah, we still have 5 pages. We will carry this on tomorrow. So tomorrow we will again read the pages of whatever we read today for round 2, and round 3 we will deal with tomorrow. So today we read from page number 12.16 till 12.19. So let me update this in the daily tracker sheet. E-way bill we studied 12.16 to 12.19. 4 pages we read today. It might look a little less, but not to underestimate the progress that we did today, because we also read the second time. If you had been following this video very sincerely from minute 1 till now, if you had read round 1 yesterday and you had followed with me up until here, round 2 of this portion 12.9 to 12.15, I'm very sure that you can see a significant difference between the level of understanding of what it felt yesterday and how it felt today. I could actually see a lot of difference in my level of understanding from how it was when I read this provisions like multiple modes of transportation, multiple vehicles, transshipment, and all those things. I was able to understand much better, in a much better way, when I read for the second time today. I won't say it is like I have reached like perfection, but because this is just round 2, we are going to do 3 more rounds of the same pages, same portion. Each and every round, the speed at which we read will be much faster, and the level of understanding will also increase. So I would like you to tell me in the comment section below, how did you find today's session? How is this channel going? Because it's been 3 study sessions now. If you have been sticking with me until here, you would have fairly got an idea about how the rest of 87-90 sessions that are going to happen in the next 3 months. Your thoughts will be extremely valuable, because please understand, I'm not doing this alone. We are doing this together. So your feedback would be extremely valuable in this situation. So feel free to drop in the comment section. Nice. I will update this now. This is 5th of October. Round 1 completed. So round 2 also completed. Let me color this. So round 2 we have completed. Round 1 we have completed. Nice. So this will fall due on tomorrow. So this will fall due tomorrow. Round 2 will fall due tomorrow. Fine then. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining today. Bye bye.